Hello there. I'm History of the Flash, but you can call me JD.
And ahoy and comic book hunter, also known as just Hunter.
And this is a classic A Hero Story episode because it's just the two co-founders here for episode number
Yeah.
216. Welcome. If you're wondering where Tyler is, he is actually visiting Australia right now. And if you're
Mhm.
wondering where Harper is, he's visiting New York right now. They didn't really communicate, so they're visiting each other, but they're both in the wrong location.
I
So
believe Harper didn't realize that America had airports, so he just jumped out of the plane, but it was only 2 hours into the flight, so he's in the ocean somewhere.
he's in the ocean. We'll see if
Yeah.
we can find him by next week. It could be a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll wait and see what happens.
This is episode number 216 of A Hero Story. We got two new comics this week, one read by both of us, one only read by Hunter, but that I think I'll read eventually. Batman number 131 and Captain America Sentinel of Liberty number 8,
Mhm.
which I've only heard good things about.
Very, very
Um,
good.
and we're probably going to be going over in this episode what we'll be reading for the year. It's a brand new year, it's 2023.
Oh
And
yeah.
we got to give this is the first episode of 2023, so we got to give our platform of what we're going to be reading this year.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll do that
And
because
plenty of news because there's always Ezra Miller Flash news.
yeah, we weren't here last week, so there's a bit of little bonus stuff. No, there wasn't too much news during like the week of Christmas time and New Year's, but since 2023 started, there's been quite a bit. But yeah, we weren't here last year, but we are on YouTube. We upload a new episode of our Dungeons and Dragons videos. It's episode 2. You don't need to, I mean, you should probably watch episode 1 if you want to watch 2, but you don't need to. But we
It's only
appreciate it.
4 hours worth of content. Just go for it, man.
Yeah,
Send it. Full
exactly.
send.
If you want to see us two and our other hosts, Tyler and Harper, just talk about a story, right? Basically writing a story. It's been fairly fun so far and fairly entertaining. And a lot of you seem to like it. So we will do 3. We will do an episode 3. Hopefully sooner than later. Because I know there's about a month gap between the last one. So we'll see. But yeah, besides that, it's a regular episode. So we'll jump into the news. Unless there anything else you want to add?
Oh, let's get right into it.
Okay, news. The Marvels is coming out in July, which is the Captain Marvel sequel with Miss Marvel and all that. Zeb Wells was hired to help write the Marvels. I thought that was kind of interesting. He's one of the writers. He's writing Amazing Spider-Man right now, and it's not good. But Zeb Wells has been a writer for like 20 plus years. So it's kind of cool that they're hiring
Has
like
Zeb Wells ever written Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel?
I have no
You know,
idea. I have no
I'll
idea.
look it up, but I'm
But
curious.
I just thought it was kind of cool that they're hiring comic book writers to help comic book movies. I don't know
Oh,
why
I
Zeb
love that.
Wells was on the list, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, for DC, we've had Jeff Johns help with scripts, but that's about it as far as I can tell. And then like the CW shows, they'll get comic writers here and there, mostly Kevin Smith for like a notable one. But yeah, like Zeb Wells, he's not the greatest Spider-Man run at the moment, but he's at the point where he's writing Spider-Man. Like that's a huge thing for comic book creators, and now he's writing MCU movies. So that's
I
pretty cool.
mean,
It wasn't just
Zeb
him.
Wells has been writing Spider-Man since like the 2000s,
Yeah,
like
that's
for a
true.
long time. So,
Mhm.
but I'm only seeing like Spider-Man related stuff on his credits. I'm not seeing any Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel.
I don't know why he's writing that. Maybe he was invited. I don't know. Maybe he had a good
Kind of
pitch.
interesting.
I have no idea. It's not just him. There's other writers involved, but it's just I just want to bring that up because it's a comic creator that is writing an MCU movie. He's writing a superhero movie, which is something that you don't see very often at all. So I
Right.
thought it was cool. Um, this is an article where the source, I have a source, is CBR. Uh, and saying that
Here
there
we
is a
go
big
again.
rumor right now that Marvel Studios is considering delaying most of their Disney Plus stuff for the new year. Therefore, they could just focus on more quality rather than quantity. Because I think right now there's like 6 of them coming out this year, and they're kind of thinking like maybe we delay some and focus a lot on the budget and then go from there. So we'll see from that. Now we're into the Flash stuff. So Ezra Miller.
Buckle in.
Ezra Miller. He might be staying. He might be staying. This is something that I thought was like a bunch of leakers were saying at first, but it comes from Variety that reports that DC Studios is not against getting rid of Ezra Miller. And usually there's these articles that they just make stuff up. And James Gunn seems to always come out and say that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. Well, it's okay because James Gunn came out for this one. He says, I have nothing to say about that. I don't know anything about that. Instead of denying it, he says he doesn't know, which is okay. That's a little odd. They want to do a younger Justice League, which is why they got rid of Cavill, and Ezra is young, and James Gunn does like Ezra Miller, according to his interviews about having Ezra on the set of Peacemaker for the season finale. So I don't think it's true, but if it is true, I won't necessarily be so surprised. It's
Listen, on a character basis, right? If they want to do like the Flashpoint is the reset, then yes, it makes sense for Flash to be the only one that stays the same. But on a actor basis, it makes absolutely zero fucking sense because like you replace people like Henry Cavill who has done nothing wrong, and then you take Ezra Miller who's done everything wrong.
Yeah, he's assaulting people. They're robbing people. They're like, there's many crimes that this guy's committed, and even then, as the Flash, he doesn't act like the Flash. He doesn't look like the Flash. Like, there's no reason why he should.
There's only one person who thought Ezra Miller made a good Flash, and that was Hunter Murray the night the Justice League came out in 2017.
Exactly.
But since then, nobody has ever thought that Ezra Miller was like the Flash.
Actually, I would say the only person was Zack Snyder, but Zack Snyder said he casted Ezra as the Flash because he thought Ezra was funny. That was his reason. But the Flash
can't keep getting away with this.
The Flash isn't a comedic. Like, he's not someone that's constantly cracking jokes. He's not Spider-Man in his younger years. Like, he's a forensic scientist.
Warner Brothers and DC saw the success of Spider-Man Homecoming with, you know, Iron Man and Spider-Man and like that kind of relationships. They're like, we could do that with Batman and who? Who could we use? Shazam? I mean, he's a kid. That would make sense, right? No. Let's not use him. Robin? I mean, that would also make sense.
That would make so much sense.
Let's use the Flash. Why?
And now we're getting a Flash movie with no Flash villains, no Flash family, but we got two Batmans.
That poster is the most cursed thing I have ever seen in my life. If you don't know what the poster is, you probably, I mean, I posted it the other day, so I hope you saw it, but oh my God, it's official. It is atrocious. I really thought, honestly, that was like a bad Photoshop. I thought that was like, in 2007, when you would Google like Spider-Man 4 and you see Tobey Maguire with like a colored red Venom, and you're like, oh my God, Spider, like that's what it looks like, that kind of level.
Yeah, it's two versions of Ezra's Barry, Supergirl, and JD showing on YouTube right now, and Michael Keaton's Batman. Michael Keaton looks
pretty cool. They can't keep getting away with this.
Okay, so they're going with the whole, one of the Barry Allens is going to be wearing the Batman Returns suit, but with the ears, like the bat ears, like cut off, and he's painted it red, and he's like spray painted a Flash logo on the chest. Cool idea in theory, but I don't see how you would execute it well. Yeah, well, yeah,
it looks so bad. Theory.
It's just the neck is.
It's like
it's so thick, and they're probably gonna make a joke about that too, how he can't turn his head. But it doesn't.
You could not run it. There's no way you could run in that suit. There is zero chance you could run.
Like, just imagine a picture of Batman and cut the ears off. Like, it looks odd. So now you're making it red, making the eyes a lot bigger, so it's more like the Flash, and having Ezra just smiling in it. Like, it looks terrible. You're right. It is probably one of the worst. Is it a poster? I think it's more like a promotional thing,
promo. But I mean, whatever it is, it's official, right? It's official.
Yeah, art. It is official. Like
that is to art what Hunter Murray is to art, and that is a tragedy. I'd like to think if Harper was here right now, he'd join them on the
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you have no backup now.
Unfortunately, it's just me, so we get the one off. All right, whatever.
It's just, why would they do that? It's funny how for live action Flash, it's like, okay, we're doing live action Flash. We need a Flash team. We need a Flash family. For the TV show, they thought of Vibe and Killer Frost, and then an original character.
Vibe was a one-off character in the 70s whose power was breakdancing.
Yep.
And Killer Frost, who was a villain who has absolutely zero to do with the Flash.
Yeah. And then an original character, Harrison Wells. That was their idea, and then they're just like, okay, now we have another chance at a movie for the
But it
Flash
worked. You
team.
know what? You know what? I'll give the CW that. It worked. It worked for the first 2 seasons. All right. It
It did.
worked.
It did. Yeah, I would even argue season 3 wasn't bad. So yeah, it did. I mean, it got bad then, but it started fine. It
So,
did
so now
work.
we're in live action, and now we're in live action movies, and they're like, all right, you know what? We need a Flash team. Who is it going to be? We got Flash. We got alternate Flash.
Another
We got
Flash.
80-year-old Batman,
Yep.
and we have Supergirl from another world.
Why?
Okay.
Why? Even if they wanted to do like the Flashpoint, why didn't you do the Flashpoint team? Why not Thomas Wayne Batman and Cyborg and
Cyborg and all the
skinny
Shazam
Superman?
kids.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
almost like you could have had that cast too. I mean, it's not like you had Jeffrey Dean Morgan in the waiting to play Batman.
He was
If you're
ready
gonna give me an
too.
old Batman, give me that man, not Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Thomas. I mean, I
And it's
get
not even
that
hate
you.
to Keaton, but he's fucking like 80 years old.
Yeah, and I understand like you want that nostalgia. Look how good Spider-Man No Way Home did with bringing Toby back, but Toby's like he's not an old man.
It's a different level, I think, too.
Yeah,
I don't know that fans of Batman 89, and Batman 89 was wildly popular when it came out,
oh
but I
yeah.
don't know that fans of Batman 89 are going to flock to the Flash movie because of Michael Keaton.
Yeah, exactly. Well, meanwhile, like people that only watch the original Spider-Man trilogy, they will watch No Way Home, or they did watch No Way Home because they heard, oh, we have Tobey Maguire's in this, and you know, the Green Goblin's back and Doctor Octopus is back. Like they see it for
Dr.
that.
Octopus is what?
That was a little bit of a I
That's
almost
what we
said
call a slip up.
yeah,
Gaff, if you will.
slip up. Yeah, there we go. My bad. Yeah,
You thought I didn't hear that.
no, I heard it. I heard it right away. I'm like, oh man. Like,
You're lucky Harper's not here. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, I know that's true. I guess continue with Flash stuff. For the TV show, we got a first poster for the final season. It's just the boots, but also, holy, we're having a lot of returning characters, including Oliver Queen, Stephen Amell. Didn't Oliver die? I thought he died. Crisis, but he's back.
Have you seen that? Have you got an advertisement for on Instagram for it's like Stephen Amell on like a cameo, and he's like advertising some like mobile game? Have you seen that yet or no?
No,
I get
don't
it all
think
the
I have.
time. I don't know what game it is, like Crash Royale or something, but it's Stephen Amell, and the cameo logo's in the bottom, and he's like, "Hey guys, it's Stephen Amell here, and I really love this game." And it's supposed to be him playing this
Oh
game,
no.
and I'm like, "Oh man, this man, just make him Green Arrow again." He's resorted to cameo ads.
He hasn't done much, yeah. Here, Flash final see because they announced a few people are coming back, I believe. Well, so anyway, Stephen Amell is big. Oh, here it
Diggle's
is.
another one, right?
Yeah, so Stephen Amell's Green Arrow will return in episode 9 with David Ramsey as John Diggle. Oh,
Will Diggle have the Green Lantern ring? Will he finally be Lantern?
I mean, he was in Superman and Lois, and he didn't. Oh yeah, the actor said that he believed that Diggle said nah, and just tossed it. Like,
he sees like a dead alien who's like, "Please take the ring," and he's like, "I'm good."
it's gonna be like Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, where he just throws the lightsaber.
Takes the lightsaber, just like.
That's basically what's happening. Another including characters are Wally West is returning as Kid Flash. They said as Kid Flash, so I guess he won't be Flash yet, even though he's like 25 or something in real life. Yeah, he's grown. The second Batwoman, like the one that was there for the final season, will be returning as well. Javicia Leslie.
Good job.
Pronouncing names again. I think maybe I got that right. I don't know. Nicole Maines is Dreamer, who was in Supergirl. Sendhil Murthy as Bloodwork. I guess that was a character in the last season of Flash, I think. And then Richard Harmon as, quote, the new Captain Boomerang. So, okay. It's getting a lot of people returning. I mean, Stephen Amell has me interested. I would like to see that episode, the one with Green Arrow back.
I don't care. Listen,
I don't care about
I'm
the
like
season.
I'm like 99% sure this show, the final episode, is going to end with Barry being the lightning that struck himself, and then they're going to like return to like the pilot. And I'm going to roll my eyes because even in the comics, that was such a dumb idea.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Where else will they go?
Try to explain that to a regular person. So he's the Flash, and he gets his superpowers from this bolt of lightning. But the bolt of lightning was actually him as the Flash. and he gives them so
So he time traveled. Yeah, I mean, I
it makes
get
no
it,
sense.
but
It's a
it doesn't.
paradox and it makes no sense.
Yeah,
You can't explain it.
I get it, but it doesn't mean it's well explained, or it doesn't mean it means anything. But yeah, no, I would. I mean, I don't have cable anymore, so I don't know how I'm gonna watch it. But when
Yar
it comes
har,
out,
it's be a pirate's life
when
for
like
you.
live. I mean, I only watch it live.
Go on the CW app.
Oh yeah, I guess I could get that.
That used to
Yeah.
be me in like 2015 or 2016 when you would watch it the next day on the CW app. So I'd have to go on like Eunice's 80 billion stories and skip over them and then watch it the next day. I had no cable in college. Oh man, it's brutal.
Yeah, that is brutal. I had cable for the first 4 seasons. Yeah, no, because I got rid of cable during The Thinker. I think that's season 4. And then I remember I was getting rid of cable and like, I don't think I care anymore. I don't think I care about this show anymore. I don't need it anymore. But yeah, no, I watched all season 3 because season 3 was Savitar.
Did you ever watch the end of Arrow?
I think I watched the last episode.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe I did
I
watch the
stopped
final.
that one I stopped after.
Yeah,
Like
the last season that I
3 or 4.
watched was going back and forward between flashbacks to him on the island and Deathstroke was involved, and then present time. I don't know if that was last season. That show seems pretty forgettable. But, yeah, no, I can't remember. But I liked Arrow, but I also felt like I was forcing myself to watch it.
Yeah, Green Batman.
Yeah, because I also watched Supergirl, the first like 3 seasons of that, and I also felt like I was forcing myself. Same with Legends of Tomorrow. I watched the first 2 seasons, forcing myself to watch it, just for those crossovers, which were very exciting to talk about, leading up to, and then
not
you
actually
watch
to
it,
watch.
and then you watch it like, oh, they're fighting in a parkade again. Okay,
That has no effect on me since I gave up my powers.
Yeah. We were doing the podcast when that happened. I remember you got really mad.
Scarred into my brain.
Years ago. But yeah, no, I mean, I kind of want to check out the last season, well, the Green Arrow episode and the last episode, because I know when they play that, like the theme song, I'll get hit with nostalgia.
A tear's gonna go down your face, and you're gonna be preparing like a comic book hunter post with like some shitty like white undertext that says like,
of course,
the Flash, the difference it made on the CW.
Yeah, no, it's coming soon. Yeah, I will be making post be like, the Flash wasn't too bad. What do you think? I mean, I didn't watch season 4 to whatever this one is.
I wouldn't be caught dead watching any of the last few seasons, but it's not that
but
bad.
season 1, I'll be like, season 1 good, and everyone will agree. Yeah. Season 2, also pretty good. I mean, it wasn't very comic accurate, but it was very entertaining. The whole Jay Garrick twist blew my mind. Even when season 1, when Harrison Wells stood up, I was like, Reverse Flash was a cool villain. He's maybe overused, but do you remember? It was like the end of an episode. He's in the wheelchair and then he stands up.
Yes.
And then,
because I remember I was watching. If I'm not mistaken, my mom was still watching the Flash at that point. Like that was kind of like early season 1, and I was like, and she was like, "This is the stupidest thing ever."
It just turns it off. No, I thought it was very exciting, and then like the teases. I remember going online to like the subreddit, the Flash subreddit, being like, "Is Harrison Wells Eobard Thawne?" And be like, "Nah." Unless
I remember going on this page called History of the Flash and saying like, "Is any of this comic accurate?" No,
but that's sometimes okay. It's okay that Robbie Amell or whoever was playing Firestorm.
Oh god.
And in the final season, he flies up into the portal in the sky and you see a PNG image of his face. Oh, that final season was awesome though. When they showed Jay Garrick's helmet, like that was exciting.
All the teases.
It was so exciting. But yeah, I still wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Let's see. News. Oh, there's a Blue Beetle promotion going on right now on their Twitter page, like the Blue Beetle Twitter page, that says, "This is only the beginning. Blue Beetle only in theaters." So I guess he might be staying, even though we don't know what universe he's in, but he comes out before Aquaman. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I wrote that down. Superman's Secret Identity is back in the comics as of the latest Action Comics issue, which Joshua Williamson wrote. I didn't read it. I don't know how.
Action 1050. Yeah, I was gonna read that, but I never got it.
Do you know how it happened? I know it's something to do with Lex.
It's something to do with Lex Luthor. Wasn't it like not liked either?
Yeah, I see people comparing it to how Daredevils was brought back, where it was just like something happened where the entire world all of a sudden forgot,
Forgets.
except for like certain people. So like Lois still knows, obviously, and,
Right.
like John and Batman and Wonder Woman, like they know,
It
but
was
the
a mistake
world
to make
forgot.
his identity public in the first place, but I mean, as we've learned from Spider-Man, Daredevil, anyone else who's done it, it's hard to put that toothpaste back in the tube. You
Yeah,
know, as Tyler would
it's
like that
again.
metaphor.
Yeah, there it is again. Yeah, no, I understand that, and it's hard to because even
Like
now,
when they did it with Spider-Man, right?
mhm,
Everyone forgets that he's Spider-Man, so then he has like even like heroes that he knew, right? Like the Avengers don't know who he is anymore. Like
mhm.
that's then you have to like overdo it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, and even then for the Avengers, like the new Avengers kind of went like, "Hey man, we don't want you on the team unless you show your identity." So he shows them to the new Avengers, so he like reveals his identity to like Bucky Barnes and Clint Barton. But
right,
right now Daredevil still doesn't know.
right, and that's what makes like a problem because it's like, does that make sense? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
Daredevil's like an actual friend to you. Yeah,
And Bucky's
Bucky
just like,
Barnes knows.
who the hell is Peter Parker?
Yeah, no, Bucky's like, I know who Peter Parker is, but Daredevil doesn't. So it's you get into this weird kind of pocket where some characters know and some don't, and the ones that do know aren't really seem like they should know. So
Right.
yeah. And then the last bit of news I have is the X-Men are doing another vote ballot, so you can vote on Marvel's website to see who you want on the next X team. They seem to be doing this every year now, which is odd because that means the team's only a team for about 12 issues or so, and
Right.
then it changes again.
And then it falls apart, so your vote doesn't really mean anything. And
Yeah, yeah. So you can go ahead and I won't be voting. I mean, I voted for the last one for some reason, and the one before that.
strong guy.
Yeah, even though I didn't read X-Men, so yeah, I'll wait until I'm like caught up to X-Men stuff, and then I will get into these yearly votes. I mean, I think the idea is cool. Vote who you want to be on the team out of all these like very minor characters, and then each character has like a fan base that's like, oh, we want
The
strong guy
concept is
back.
cool, but the execution of it seems a little odd that it only lasts for like 12 issues. It makes you
Yeah.
wonder, are people not buying it? Because a lot of people vote, obviously.
Well, yeah, people that don't read it vote. We voted.
Right, right, exactly. But then
And
I would never be caught dead reading any of those books.
yeah, exactly. So more people are like, there's probably getting hundreds of thousands of votes, and then just like, hey, everyone, Strong Guy is the new X-Men member, and everyone's just like, cool. I don't care.
Cool, can't wait to not read that.
Yeah, there's obviously a group of people that start reading, and X-Men is one of Marvel's biggest books, and it always will be. So it's still getting good sales. Just maybe it's getting more votes
Well,
than it is
there's
sales.
also so many like side books. There's like a million different
X
side X books that
Factor,
there's no way you could
Exterminators, New
possibly. It's like
Mutants.
what we
Yeah.
used to say about Batman books. There's no way you could possibly read them all.
Yeah. At least for X-Men, it's not all about one person like Batman. Like it's
Right,
different mutants, different
right,
teams. So
right. All right, X Men lover.
I know I'm kind of an expert now. So expert. Huh,
Something. Oh wow, I see what you did there.
I changed my Zoom name. All
Oh
right.
god.
That's it for news. So we comics.
All right, you want to start with Batman since we both read it?
Yeah, sure.
Hunter, as a fan of Chip Zdarsky and Jorge Jimenez as Batman,
hmm
tell me what you think of this issue.
It was it felt like something that I've read before.
Because it is.
The Tom King
I
did
said
this.
this. Did I not say this since the beginning of his Batman?
That it's like
I am a huge Chip Zdarsky fan. I think that the first 25 issues of his Daredevil run are near perfection.
mhm.
However, since he's taken over Batman, I'm like, I feel like every story has kind of been done already.
Yeah,
And like
I
this just
mean,
feels
it
like it's
is
a retread.
Batman,
And
but yeah.
every review and comment that I saw said this as well. Like kind of just feels like a retread of Grant Morrison's Batman, like in the Final Crisis era.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
Like
totally is.
Batman gets shot with a laser and disappears to a different time, and Tim Drake is the only one who believes that he's still alive. Where have I seen that one before?
I didn't even think of that, but that is 100% Grant Morrison. I was thinking Tom King when Booster Gold like saves his parents for as a wedding gift, and then he gets transported to a world without Batman.
That's another one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't even think of that. I think
Flash.
the Grant
He
Morrison one's a
uses
little bit more on the
Flashpoint.
nose, but
Yeah, no, that was the one that I first thought of. But yeah, those are two stories that have been done before, and this is the third time where
I
Batman gets
just
zapped with the laser. Now he's in a world without Batman.
I think Batman is one of those characters that's nearly impossible to write. Like I genuinely I don't think I could come up with like original creative Batman story. I could write for other characters, but Batman is not one of them. And why? Because I mean, how many issues has Batman been in? Like as a character, as the main part of the story, like
5,000 more.
5,000 issues, maybe
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Like it's almost impossible to tell. Like unless you're like some genius who writes Batman Reptilian, there's no way to like come up with an original story. I don't know why. Batman Reptilian is always my go-to, and I've never even read it, but it's always my go-to. But it's weird, like to retread like that. You know what I mean? And I remember Harper had this problem with his Daredevil that he felt like a lot of Chip's Daredevil was a retread of Ann Nesenti's Daredevil. Now, obviously, the two of us didn't pick up on it because we haven't read Nesenti's Daredevil, but like I remember him saying that throughout the run. And now that like we're reading his Batman, it's like, man, is that what Harper was feeling?
Yeah,
like,
I've read
every
this
story
before.
is kind of a retread.
I didn't really like the failsafe arc. I was like, okay, this is an action comic. It's not a detective comic. It's just a fight scene. It's like a 6-issue fight scene, and it's Jorge on art, so I was okay with that. But now you take Jorge away because he's taking like I think it's like a 4-issue break as he's working on Nemesis,
which sucks.
Yeah, it does suck that he's away, but he is coming back to the book. But you take him away, and now I'm just like, oh, this is a Batman book, but not just like a new Batman book. This is one that we've all read before.
Right.
I mean,
like,
it's not. I'm not
the entire time.
bored.
I'm like, but the entire time I'm like, does nobody else realize that this is Final Crisis? Like Bruce getting zapped with the laser. I'm like, is he purposely making this like Final Crisis? Like he has to be. That has to be.
Yeah.
And then when Tim was like the only one who believes that he's still alive, I was like, am I going crazy here? Am I like living Groundhog's Day?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. It's odd, and there's also like editorial issues where at the start of Zdarsky's run, it's just like, oh, this takes place before Death of the Justice League, and now John's in his new suit that takes place after Death of the Justice League. So there's like editorial problems, and I don't know. I'm not bored of this. I'm not gonna drop it. Or wait, are you dropping it?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm not dropping it. I think it wasn't Tyler who said like Batman's one of those books that you kind of always have to read.
Yeah.
It's pretty accurate. I mean, I did drop during the time and stuff, but it's pretty accurate. You always end up coming back to the book.
I mean, like, yeah, we're complaining about it, but I wasn't bored from the issue. I was entertained by it. I did like the skeleton Jim Gordon character, but that was also it just reminded me of Joker and Arkham Knight. Like it's someone that only Bruce sees, and he's cracking jokes, and he's everywhere.
Which could it be another retread? Like I don't know. It's weird. And obviously everybody loves this book so far because of the creative team, and I get that all. I feel like so far, and I don't doubt that it will take off at some point and it will become, one of those Batman runs. But so far, I'm kind of just like, what is it doing that's new?
Right now, Batman falling from space, which I didn't like.
I hated that so much.
So that's about it. It hasn't done really anything else besides that. So it's a very, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Zdarsky's gonna have a short run. I think he'll be on the book for a while.
Even the Harvey Dent thing, where he's like Judge Dent, I feel like that's been done before too.
It sounded familiar, yeah.
Right? Like as I was reading it, I was like, what do I know this from?
And the villain at the end, was that Red Hood? Red Mask? Is that just Jason Todd?
Yeah, I was wondering if that's supposed to be like the alternate version of Red Hood, or it's supposed to be the alternate version.
Zdarsky said one of his favorite DC characters is Jason Todd, so I could see him writing about that. And he does mention Jason in this run, like sort of generally, he keeps bringing up the Bat Family, like Dick, Jason, Tim. But usually when people mention the Bat Family, they mention just one character. So it's kind of interesting that he's mentioning more. So I don't know. I'm going to stick to it. I think it will get, I'm assuming he'll get an original story in there eventually. But right now,
I just think so far it's painfully okay when I know it could be so much more.
Yeah, exactly. I thought this would be the greatest run ever.
I mean, to be fair, you've thought that about every run that's ever happened.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So now, Spider-Man is going to be the best run ever.
And now whoever takes place after Zdarsky is going to be the greatest run ever. So mark my words. So we'll see.
Isn't it you who's taking over Batman?
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd be screwed though. They'd be like, "Okay, you're ready, Batman. What's your pitch?"
Batman buys a Tim Hortons franchise.
Have him leave Gotham.
Sells coffee.
Yeah, leave Gotham. Whoever's writing Batgirls can have Gotham.
It'll be like the scene from Tom King's when they go into that fast food restaurant, but it'll be set to Tim Hortons. Like, do you want to Jokerize that coffee? They'd be like, the Joker is a homicidal maniac. It's like, no, he's good.
All right, here's what I do. I'd have Batman leave Gotham, so he says, but Bruce Wayne stays in Gotham, and Bruce Wayne looks at all these files that he has on from Zack Snyder's Justice League, Scott Snyder's Justice League, where they went to the fifth dimension. There was a perfect Gotham, and he starts to rebuild Gotham in that way, doing construction and everything. So I want every Bat book to have construction everywhere for the next year, like cranes and everything. Like they're rebuilding Gotham, they're making white buildings and whatnot. And that's what I have so far. That's a pitch, though.
I mean, that's a promising start.
Yeah, that's something.
Now
They're
show
trying
me, now
to
show me the conflict. Now show me the villain. Now show me the
Joker.
All right, Batman gets hit with a laser and goes back in time.
Yeah, but it's a world without Batman, and that's
Dude.
that's what I'm thinking. A
And
Joker,
and you call it Justice League, a world without Batman.
and Joker's back.
And,
DC just throws money at me.
and Joker's pregnant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What
that
the
was
fuck
a thing.
was that? Okay, you sent that to the chat. I literally have no idea what that is.
That was a backup story in the back of Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue 4, I believe.
What the fuck?
It was a Zatanna illusion. That was it.
I was like, that was like the first thing I saw when I woke up, and I was just like in a half woken daze, like.
But
what?
because of your reaction there, there's articles on it that are getting so many clicks, probably.
I thought, I swear to God, when you sent that, I thought that was because I knew Batman had come out this week. I thought that was from this Batman issue.
No.
So when I was reading today's Batman issue, and there was like a panel of the Joker, and it's like, I think the text said like, I dream of the Joker killing Tim. I was like, please don't tell me he's gonna dream of Joker being pregnant.
Bruce dreams. No, I'm pretty sure it's not canon or anything. It's just a backup.
Obviously, but like, oh my God, I was like,
yeah,
I was really expecting it in this issue, and I'm like, there's no way Chip Zdarsky did that.
The only people that are getting upset over this are the people that didn't read it or like don't plan on reading it. They're just like, because they think it's they think that's like something that's like gonna be the next 9 months.
I genuinely imagine that 9 months
in comics, like he's gonna appear and that's what he's gonna look like. But no, it's like an illusion in a backup story of a non-canon book.
That shit threw me for a loop. I was really expecting in this week's Batman. I was like, holy fuck.
Talk about
an original story. Talk about doing something new.
There you go. Yeah, that's what Zdarsky has to do. That's what he has to do. The end. I also read Captain America Sentinel of Liberty, which is
tell me all about this beautiful book, because I've only heard good things about it. And now that I've finished Ed Brubaker's Captain America, I feel like I should read it.
How long is Ed Brubaker's Captain America?
The actual run is 71 issues. Then it goes to a 19 issue series. So
and it's good the whole time.
It's not good the entire time. It's great the entire time. It's 90 issues of Captain America with like a few mini series. Probably in total, it's like 110 issues, and it is the best.
Okay, because
the Winter Soldier series, I want to name my son James Buchanan Barnes DeGrazia.
Really?
Oh, dude, Bucky is the best. Bucky went from like a character I didn't give a fuck about until like top 4 Marvel characters for me.
Really? Whoa!
No lie.
Actually, okay.
I swear
that was because of his miniseries, right? The Bucky miniseries?
The Winter Soldier series by Ed Brubaker.
It was just like a multi-series, right?
Fucking blew my mind. It was like 14 issues by Ed Brubaker, and it was so good. Oh my God. Him and Black Widow. I mean, oh God. I don't know how it took me so long to read that. So if Sentinel of Liberty is writing a good Bucky, because what I've noticed, because now I'm reading all the Bucky stuff that comes after Brubaker, and it's not nearly as good. So I need a series that has a good Bucky. So if this is the series, I'm in.
This is the series. I mean, it's very much like Obi-Wan and Anakin. Like they don't really.
I could live with that.
They don't really. Something happens, and Bucky has one side, and Steve has the other, and they're just like, uh-oh. So it's Civil War, but it's those two. But yeah, I've read the first 25 issues of Brubaker's, and I've enjoyed it. But I didn't continue past that because I got like the Winter Soldier omnibus. I didn't read it on Marvel Unlimited.
So I mean, you got Marvel Unlimited, so you could read it all now.
I could, yeah.
Like that was my entire month of December. Fucking blew my mind. So good.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you read it in 1 month too.
Oh, so good. I had to keep reading it.
Yeah, I did really enjoy the 25 issues, and then I think I read it before I even had Marvel Unlimited. So I guess now's my chance. I mean, I'm loving Sentinel of Liberty right now. It's very, very, very good.
Yeah.
This issue, it's a new arc just started this time. It's AIM takes over Manhattan, so look out your window. and they basically put like a
Oh, I
pole.
see him.
They put like a barricade over, and it's just like no one could get in, no one could get out, and
It's
they
like a
don't
honeycomb
know.
of a city.
Yeah, basically, it's like they don't know why this is happening. Yeah, Luke Cage is mayor in it, which I'm like, hey, I like that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about it too. It's just like the mayor's giving his words, and it's Luke Cage. I'm like, oh, hey, I remember that. But yeah, it's this story is about Cap. He forms like a very small team, and she's like, okay, we gotta get in there. It's like where is it? Oh yeah, it's Nick Fury. It is, well, I'm forgetting names. It's Sharon Carter and Peggy Carter, because Peggy's around right now. And they're just like, okay, we need someone who could like maybe get inside, find out what's happening in the city. Because we can't get in at the moment. So is there anyone you know that we can like call to get in? And Steve's just like, I know one person, but I mean, like, I met her at a party, and you know, like, it was just one time, and because he's dating Sharon right now, and Sharon's just like, Steve, like, it's okay. I know we're together, but you could call like your ex-girlfriend if she could help. Like,
Right.
it's okay. Like, you're Captain America. You've probably been with women that have helped in numerous situations where it's life or death. He's like, all right. It's just like, okay, you can call her. And he's just like, it's not really, I can't really call her. I have to just think a word really loud. And he thinks, and
Oh, this was the Emma Frost one, right?
yeah,
I
he has,
saw that.
yeah, he has to think. It's like word is he has to say mommy, and then Emma Frost like appears with Scarlet Witch. That was like the deal that they made, I guess, in the Hellfire Gala that happened
Yeah.
recently. It's just like, if you need me, say this word or think this word as hard as you can, and I'll appear. And so he does, and she appears, and she could put everyone in a mind link to the people of Manhattan, but Peggy refuses because she's just like, I don't want any telepaths in my head. So that's suspicious. But yeah, they go in and they find out that it's MODOK, but they draw MODOK like an actual like demon like character, so
Yeah.
less ridiculous. MODOK was in solicitations.
Less ridiculous? Is it ever not ridiculous?
Yeah,
When it's
I mean
MODOK?
it is, yeah. But MODOK is able to be like, oh, I'm like, people are in my head right now. So he catches them and he like kind of hurts their minds. They all start coughing out blood, and Emma has to get them out of it. But yeah, this was mostly just a setup issue to find out what's happening in New York, and now they're just like, all right, I guess we got to go save them. Oh, Hawkeye's also on the team, and Sharon at one point says like, we need to get as many superheroes as possible to get in, and she's just like, I think instead of getting superheroes, we should find invaders, and then it cuts to the final pages Namor. So it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, it's really really good. I highly recommend it. You should.
Yeah. I have heard good things about the run. I've heard like most promising Captain America in a while.
It's very, very good. Yeah. I mean, like, what was it? Who wrote the one that we didn't like, but we liked it first?
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah. I mean, his first arc was good, and then it got
Winter in
really
America was
bad.
very good. The rest was not so good.
Yeah. This one is on its third arc now, and it's all still really good, and it's still
still
setting
keeping that
stuff up. Yeah. So, like, I'm enjoying it. Sorry, just closing the door.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I don't know. Like Captain America, I think is one of those characters. Like, you ever have a run on a character where you read it and you're like, it's never gonna get better than this?
yeah.
Like, I don't know that maybe I've reached that. I don't know. That's how good I think the Brubaker Captain America is. Like,
I mean, it
don't know
probably.
that
I'm
there's
not
another
saying.
one.
Yeah, I'm not saying this run's better than that, but
No,
I'm
and it
just saying
probably
it's
isn't.
good.
But if it's enjoyable, I can live with that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that Edward Vicker is that like in your top 10 runs now?
Dude, it might be top 5.
Whoa.
It might be like
Whoa.
it might be like Bendis Daredevil and Invincible level for me. Like right there.
Dang. Wow.
Yeah.
You've read those you've been reading good books recently, because that's all within
Dude,
like a, well, I
dude,
guess over a year.
that run had an effect on me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I get that. I haven't
Like you ever have that run, like we talked about this with Invincible, like where you keep thinking about it afterwards. You know,
Mhm.
like after you finish, you keep thinking about it. Like that's me with this run. Like I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking about the arcs and some of the stories and like where they could go from afterwards. And
Yeah.
like, oh man, like to
But
know it
where they
doesn't
can go,
happen
like
sucks.
you see where they can go.
Yeah.
Like, just, I don't know, you gotta read Hickman's Avengers, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
where
that's fair.
he goes, because Cap's in that, and
Yeah,
that's
no,
the
that's
cover.
what I have to read at some point this year.
Yeah, so
Speaking of
eventually.
what I need to read at some
Oh,
point
hey,
this
we're
year,
on that
what a
part. Yeah.
segue.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Hunter Murray, you're an X-Men expert now.
Kind of an expert. I kind of know everything about them now,
How
somehow.
did this happen? How? What made you start?
Well, how old I'm 24, so about 22 years ago, I said I'm gonna read X-Men, and I never did. I never touched them. And then
As a toddler, you said, "I'm gonna read all of X-Men," and the theme started playing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, this
And then you
was
were
yeah.
like, I will read every X-Men issue to ever exist.
Mhm. And
Exist. And
yeah,
then
exactly. And then I didn't.
you stopped.
And then Hickman made House and Powers of X, and I'm like, wow, this sounds pretty cool. So I read that, and I was like, this is awesome, and I really liked it. And then I read Hickman's X-Men. I read the first 12 issues, and I'm like, who are these people? I don't know.
Who are you?
That's Wolverine. I don't know who you are though. So like I was confused. So after 12 issues, I'm like, okay, I gotta read more X-Men to understand this. And I didn't for 3 years. I just didn't touch them. I mean, I read Wolverine when he was on the Avengers. I read Avengers versus X-Men. I read them when they cross over with Guardians of the Galaxy and other books, but I refuse to touch X-Men. And then for December, I'm like, we do themes every month, like what we read. And
Right.
I'm like, what's my theme? And I didn't have any clue. I'm like, I could do Guardians again. That was my theme for November, or maybe I could do something else. And I just thought, I read X-Men. So yeah, I read Dark Phoenix, which I've read before a long time ago. I had the trade, so I reread that. I'm like, that was really good. I wonder what happened before that though. So I went back and I read Giant Size X-Men, and I read 50 issues of Claremont's X-Men. And I was like, wow, that was great. Read Morrison's, and now I'm halfway through Whedon's, and I read the 2003 New Mutants run. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but I read it and I
I know
enjoyed it.
Drew is very like anti New Mutants.
He is, because he
He,
messaged me. He's just like, "Why are you reading New Mutants?" And I'm just like, I
well,
don't
because
know.
he's like a big like main X-Men title. He's not like he doesn't like the New Mutants. I know that.
New Mutants are just the students. That's all it is. So I'm like, you know what? 13 issues. I'll read that in a day, and I read it in a day, and I was like, I think because I read it in a day, I enjoyed it more because it's
Yeah,
very slow. Like nothing happens.
yeah.
But it's about mutants going to school. That's all it is. And I was like, and I had people messaging me being like, that run's kind of boring. And I'm like, yeah, but like it took me like 2
Yeah, but I've
hours.
read it.
Yeah, but the fact that I read it though, there's a character in that gets a lot of development. His name is Josh. He doesn't have a code name from what I read, and his skin turns gold, and he's a healer. And so I'm like, you know what? I like this character, Josh. I wonder if he'll appear again. Probably not. But then I'm reading Whedon's X-Men, and there's a scene where every telepath in the building goes unconscious over this attack. So they get Josh to go heal them, and I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Like, you're like,
Yeah, he's on
I know.
2 pages, and he doesn't have any dialogue except "You're welcome." But the fact that I read New Mutants made me be like, "Hey, there's Josh. I know that guy."
Dude,
He
what a
says, "You're
legend.
welcome," and he passes out, and Wolverine goes, "Oh, this kid's down," and walks away. And I was like, "I know that guy. I know that character." So yeah, no, I'm really enjoying X-Men, um,
So you're on Whedon.
which is the
At
best
some
one so
point,
far.
really.
Yeah, I'm on issue 17 of Whedon's, and I'm like, this is like one of the coolest runs ever. Like it's up there for like
I've heard good things about Joss Whedon's X-Men in the past.
it's very like I read Claremont's and I thought that was amazing, but it's also, I mean, tons of dialogue and it's
Right,
very
it's old. I,
classic.
Cyclops, leader of the X-Men.
Yeah, it's an 80s comic, so it's definitely aged, but it's still entertaining because the team's very small. There's not mutants in the world, really. It's just this small team going on missions. So that's fun.
Right.
And then I read Morrison's, and I honestly thought it was just okay. I didn't think it was amazing or anything. I think it's a little too, I don't know what the word is, real, dark. I don't know. It deals with a lot of things, like it deals with genocide right off the bat. I'm like, that's heavy from
That's
going
heavy, yeah.
from Cyclops being like, let's go, gang, and Nightcrawler's saying something in a different language. I'm like, haha, he could teleport. That's fun. And then I go to Morrison's, and the first issue is like genocide. And then I'm like, okay, that's dark. So they deal with that. And after it's just like teenage pregnancy. I'm like, okay, I'm uncomfortable. It's just like students rebelling against humans because they believe humans deserve to die. I'm like, they're 15 though. I'm just like, this is really like, this is heavy stuff. And then it
Yeah.
gets really good at the end, but just that first half was just dealing with so much stuff that I was like, I don't know if I like this. Like, there's a character who her power is she's half bug. There's a character whose power is that he's half bird, and they're both clearly say that they're 14, and then she gets pregnant, but because she's a half bug, she gives birth to many children within like a week, and they show a lot of that, and I'm like, okay. I'm
I'm
like,
uncomfortable.
all right, okay, all right. so so I don't know. I wasn't that big of a fan, but then you get to Whedon's, and it's just like it's going kind of goes back to Claremont's roots, where it's like it's still the school, but it's focused on the team. It's just like a team of 6, and they're just doing missions together, and they're not dealing with genocide. They're dealing with, oh, there's a cure that could cure mutants, and Beast is tempted to use it because he's a big beast now, and he's like, I used to play the guitar, and now I look like a big cat. And they're all just like, no, you shouldn't be, like, you have to be Beast, you're an X-Men, you're not a human. He's just like, yeah, but like people used to look at me and not be afraid. And it's like, this is the kind of stuff I wanted to read about X-Men. I don't want to read about these bug bird people. so yeah, no, it's fun, it's enjoyable, and I will continue up until
So
I don't know.
post Whedon, right? I'm not the biggest on X-Men, but I know like Brubaker writes a little bit.
Brubaker,
Bendis,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I think
So you
Faction. I think.
so
Could
you're
be
gonna be
wrong.
making your way all through that?
Yeah, I plan on it. I plan to get to Krakoa arc, and if people say don't read this, then I won't read it. I mean, people just
Right.
said that about New Mutants, but I still read it. But yeah, Drew and Tyler have both been my guides. I just
Your
message them
guides,
here
your
and there, be
gurus.
like, "Hey, should I read this?" And they're either like, "Yeah, read it," or "Don't, please don't." There's just a run called X-Men in the 2000s. They're just like, please. Both of them said, "Do not read that. Just read Astonishing X-Men," which is Whedon's run. I'm like, okay, I'll do that then. Oh, I also read
Yeah.
Jim Lee's X-Men, which was
And
only
that's
12
bad.
issues. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean,
The art's cool, but the writing's bad.
yeah. Do you know who writes it?
Is it Claremont for the first 4 issues?
Yeah, and then someone
Then he
takes
gets
over.
off the book,
Yeah,
and then is it Jim Lee that writes it?
Jim Lee. It says Jim Lee does the story, but there's a writer.
Who's the writer?
Oh, friend of the show, Scott Lobdell.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
Scott Lobdell, right? And I didn't realize that until like 7 issues in. I'm like, this is a lot of like kind of creepy
Wait,
dialogue.
did it feel like he didn't have an idea until? Because remember he told us about his X-Men. He said it was the same thing with Red Hood, but that he would come up with an idea like the month of that it
Oh
was due,
yeah,
and like he wouldn't tell the other writers, so the other writers would have no idea what he's writing.
yeah. No, it definitely felt like that. I mean, I only read the 12 issues, and when Jim Lee left art,
Oh, it's
I left the
hilarious.
book. So it's just like it's just so much at once. There's one scene where like Rogue, Gambit, Jubilee, and Wolverine, they play basketball. I'm like, that's fun. And then after, it's just dealing with like this new character attacks and this new character attacks, and the school blows up like so many times. It's like, oh my god.
But Omega Red.
Yeah, that happened. Omega Red's in it. It's just like, this character was dead. How are you alive? And you'd be like, I can't tell. It's like, why can't you tell us? So yeah, no, I didn't really like it. I mean, the art
So
was
90s
cool.
X-Men, no good. 2000s X-Men, looking up.
Very good so
Joss
far.
Whedon,
80s X-Men, good.
promising.
Yeah, I just skipped the 90s.
Number one Joss Whedon fan, Hunter.
Yeah, it's true. His what he
Loves-
did in 2017 was not good.
You loved when Ezra Miller laid on top of Gal Gadot. That was comedy.
Yeah,
genius.
that was an idea that you could tell, like reading his run. I'm like, yeah, he's the type of guy that would pitch that. He does deal with a lot of relationships in the X-Men, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I see how he was kind of like,
I could see where it came from. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, it's more natural in the comic because they've had years of development, but it's like, yeah, I can see why he thought that would work in
Yeah.
Justice League and Age of Ultron and in the Avengers.
Yeah.
The same joke. So yeah. One more thing that I was reading though that I want to give a quick little, hey, you should read this before you get into your stuff. Chip Zdarsky said this is going to win the Eisner this year, and he posted a comic book, and I'm just like, I'll check it out. And it's called "It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth," and my God, is it amazing! I'm halfway through so far.
Was this on his newsletter? I didn't even see this.
I was on his Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah, he posted this a few weeks ago, and then I saw it.
Lonely at the Center of the Earth.
Yes, it is an autobiographic novel by Zoe Thorogood. Yeah, Zoe Thorogood. I did pronounce that right. And it is about she decided it was July 2021, and due to COVID and due to depression, she decided the only thing I have to live for, she's living alone, the only thing I have to live for is to make something. So she decided, I'm going to draw my life for the next 6 months, and I'm not going to leave where I am. So if you've seen, there's a video on YouTube, there's, I guess, a documentary on Netflix called Inside by Bo Burnham. It's where he doesn't leave his apartment for a year, and he never leaves the house. He doesn't see the sun or anything, and he just films him slowly going insane. This is kind of like a comic book version of that, but it's like a really skilled artist drawing like how she just won't leave. But it's very good, and she has these characters that are like, there's a character that's depressed, and there's a character that's like, you got to get to work and everything. So there's scenes where like she's talking to the audience, the reader, and she's like, I'm sorry, I'm breaking the fourth wall here, but you have to know something. And then it cuts to like her character of motivation, like filming her in front of a green screen as she's talking to the audience. So it's very creative. There's not really a story necessarily to it. It's just her being like, today sucked, or today was all right, and then her going through like her whole life as well, and how she became a comic book artist, and moments of her like, oh, like I went to America and I showed my portfolio to this guy and I had no idea who he was. He just wanted to see it because I was holding it. And then he invited me to a meeting with Image Comics, and like really cool moments of her life, and be like, oh my God, Marvel just sent me a message asking me if I want to do art for women in Marvel voices. And it's just like moments, but it's her being all alone during these huge moments, and she doesn't tell anyone about it. And she's advancing in her artist life, but all alone and doing it. So yeah,
And
it's very good.
and and this made you want to write a book called "It's Lonely on the West Side of Canada."
So that's coming next week. No, this is pretty thick.
No,
So
that sounds interesting though.
it's very, very cool so far, and it's a little sad, but like it's got cool pages where it's just like text messages going back and forward, and
Right.
then it's got pages filled with art and black and white, and then you get pages of color, and it's really cool. I
Yeah.
do highly recommend it to anyone who's interested in a real comic book, like a real story. And there's even
Yeah.
a moment where one of her like voices that she drew for like motivation is just like, hey, you do realize this is a comic, right? You should have like giant squids attacking you and stuff, because this is a comic book. You shouldn't be sad and stuff. She's like, yeah, I guess. And she's talking about how her life is sad, and then a giant squid attacks her. So it's funny too. Like
Right.
it's really humorous. So yeah, I recommend it. What are you reading?
Wow. No, it sounds interesting. I might have to add that to the list. I was just
It's,
looking it up on Comixology and that.
yeah, it's
All right.
got good reviews too.
So I went all out on Brubaker in the month of December. Blew my fucking mind. Great. So then after that, I was like, man, I want to read more Winter Soldier and I want to read more Black Widow because they're two pretty big supporting characters of the run. So I
Mhm.
was like, all right, Winter Soldier. We got some good Bucky Barnes runs after. Right? Right?
No,
Wrong. So the first one is called Winter Soldier Bitter March. And the premise is really interesting. It's set in the 60s, height of the Cold War. Nick Fury on one side, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, on the other side. And they're hunting down basically like the scientist that Hydra's trying to capture. The Russians want it and the Americans want it. Like as
okay.
like this formula that could create anything, kind of like an alchemist formula.
Mhm.
So it's like them two going, against each other on opposite sides. I was like, this sounds fucking interesting. Nick Fury gets knocked out in like the first issue and doesn't come back to the last issue. Some other American spy takes over, and I'm like, really? Oh God. And like
Okay.
it's dumb. It's stupid. The art's cool, but it's stupid. So I was
Hmm.
like, all right, swing and a miss on one, strike one, right?
Yeah.
Then we got Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, same year, 2014. I'm like, all right, this is cool. It's Bucky and remember Daisy Johnson from Secret
Oh,
War.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm like Quake, I think her name was.
Yeah. Mhm.
I was like, all right, cool. That's a cool team up, right? They're in space.
Why?
Why? it it is a very cool looking book. The art is kind of like a watercolor type approach,
Okay.
like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
kind of looks like a painting. Like it's very cool looking. It's
Bendis
the
Daredevil
dumbest
cover.
fucking story. Bucky like does it with some alien queen and travels in time, and then we have old man Bucky
What?
and doesn't trust Quake. It's so fucking dumb.
Okay.
And after like 5 issues, like I was reading the reviews and people were like, "Yeah, I stopped after the fifth issue. This is fucking dumb." But I was like, "It's only 11 issues total." I was like, "I'm a completionist. I could finish this." I regret finishing it because it was so dumb.
Yeah, no, I
So
would too.
Swing and a miss, strike two, right? 0-2 on
Mhm.
the count. Then we got Winter Soldier 2019, 2018. It has the Stan Lee, like RIP Stan Lee on the top.
Oh,
So
so
I guess 20,
19 or
2019.
18. Yeah.
This one's by Kyle Higgins, who wrote Nightwing and the New 52. He writes Radiant Black and all that. So I'm like, all right, this could be
Could be good.
promising.
Could be good.
It's Bucky essentially taking on like a kid who's reminds him of himself, and he
Mm,
dresses in a Bucky outfit.
mm,
It's kind of dumb.
mm.
So swing and a miss, strike three. But that's it for Winter Soldier series. That's really all they have. So I was like, all right, now let's go into Black Widow. So I just started Black Widow like yesterday and a little bit of today. And I'm starting in 1999 and I'm trying to make
Oh,
my way to
really
present.
far back.
Yeah, like this is height of like Daredevil and Black Widow as like a couple.
Yeah.
Daredevil's kind of written like an idiot in this.
Well, yeah.
But so far it's only been two like 3-issue miniseries. It's like when Black Widow first meets Yelena. So I'm like, all
Okay,
right,
yeah.
this is kind of interesting, right? They're like bitter enemies, but it's cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like more into like the spy espionage stuff. I like that. So we're off to a better start with Black Widow than we got to with
Mhm.
Winter Soldier. One of the Black Widow stories is like they have you ever seen the movie Face Off with Nicolas Cage where like him and John Travolta like switch faces?
Oh,
It's
I
kind of like
haven't.
that.
I
It's kind of like
haven't, but
that,
I
but with
know a
Black
lot
Widow
about it.
and Yelena.
Okay. It's funny that you reference that. I know, like, I've watched video essays on this movie for some reason, but I've never seen it.
It's such a weird movie. It's a face off.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that for one of the Black Widow series, but it was actually a cool premise, you know, like her fucking with Yelena's head. Like Yelena's like the dumb kid who's trying to be a spy, and like Natasha's not having any of that. She's like,
Yeah,
"Fuck
yeah,
off,
that's
I'm
fair.
the Black Widow." So, but she's kind of taking her under his wing. So
Are
I
you
like
gonna
it so far.
read
It's a good start.
the Kelly Thompson run?
Yes, that's what
I
I'm
hear that
doing. This
one's really good. 19?
2020 or 2019.
That's on my
Uh,
Marvel Unlimited list.
I'm building to that because I think that one
2020.
settles. So I don't know if you saw my post the other day, but Brubaker leaves Winter Soldier and Black Widow in like a like kind of broken up. She loses her complete memory of Bucky, so she doesn't even remember like during the Cold War and all that shit. Like when
Oh,
she knew
okay.
him back then. So I was like, oh man, it's such an interesting premise. Like, what are they gonna do? And I haven't found the run yet that deals with it, like the aftermath of it, but I think it's gonna be that run.
I think so too. That's the most recent, and it's got a lot of praise. Like, it was very, like, I
Is
think
it
it
still
is.
ongoing or is it done?
No, I've finished.
So
Uh,
yeah, okay. So I'm building to that. I added them all to my Marvel Unlimited library. There's like probably like 6 different miniseries, and then it builds to that Kelly
it's
Thompson
only
series.
15 issues. Yeah, let's see. Elena's on a cover of one. All the other covers are just Black Widow. So I don't know if
Yeah,
Bucky's in it, but
I think someone also said that Bucky is in one of the Wade issues, Mark Wade issues, because he wrote I think like a 12-issue Black Widow series before that.
okay.
So I'm gonna have to figure out which one it is. But I want to know how the story ends because I want them to be back together. They're the best.
I didn't realize that they're like, I thought they're, I knew that they dated in the comics, but I thought it was just like a one-time thing. I didn't realize that they were together
They
for a while.
dated in like while he was the Winter Soldier, and then obviously they lost each other for a long time, and then she comes back when he's back to being Bucky, no longer like the program Russian bot, and oh, I shouldn't say Russian bot on YouTube, it might get us flagged. Um, but then they like they're a steady thing, like especially when he's Captain America. Like that's what's so cool about the Brubaker run. Bucky becomes Captain America, and it's fucking great.
Yeah.
He's like Captain America for maybe at least 25 issues, maybe more. And it is awesome. It is great stuff. It does not skip a beat. I thought like when Steve died, like the book was going to decline. No way. It gets
So
better almost.
damn, okay.
Bucky becomes one of those like legacy tales where I'm like, man, I wish he could have lasted as Captain America longer. And like the
Yeah.
whole time he's like, I'm not Captain America. Steve Rogers is Captain America. I just didn't want anybody else to have the shield.
Yeah,
But
he
oh,
said
it's
that
so
in New
good.
Avengers too, when he was on the Avengers for that brief time. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's nice like piecing that together of what I read from New Avengers and Fear itself and all that. Clearly, I haven't read Fear itself.
yeah. Are you gonna read that?
I read Fear itself when I read
Oh, you
all
did?
the Dennis
Oh,
Avengers
okay. There
stuff.
you go.
So
Yeah.
I forgot that that was the one that like took care of Bucky.
Hmm.
Because I asked Tyler, I was like, when does he get the fake death? I was like, I can't remember. And I'm like, oh fuck, Fear itself.
Yeah, Fear itself. Fear itself isn't bad. It's a decent one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But anyway, Bucky's Captain America, great. I'm gonna keep going with the Black Widow stuff and try to become a Hunter Murray style Black Widow expert, 1999 to present.
It's your character right there. And then
My
you got to
character.
get on. Oops, there goes the CGC.
Oh, boo! You
It's
can't
fine.
flop
It's
a comic
fine.
like that.
There's no creases. It's okay. I
So
recovered. I recovered. Then you got to get on Sentinel of Liberty because it's very good, and
I will
Bucky's in
at
it.
some point.
He is a huge character in the whole run. He wasn't in this issue. I think this was issue 8 was the first issue that he's not in it. He's been
Right.
in everything else, but he's not in it for a good reason. And he is in the solicitation, so he's not like he's gone forever.
Right.
But yeah, you gotta get on it.
Now beyond X-Men and beyond the Black Widow, what is the 2023 outlook look for you? What will
Oh,
you be
yeah.
reading?
You might have sold me on the rest of Brubaker's Cap because I've only read the first 25
do it.
issues.
Do it.
Hellboy. I own the
Hellboy,
complete
right.
collection of Hellboy as of now, and I haven't read it yet. So yeah, that was just because I realized that I've never read a Dark Horse comic ever. I'm like, I should read something, and I hear Hellboy's great. He's getting a new game coming out soon, so I'm like, yeah, I'll check out Hellboy. So I have his complete collection because that's now available. I don't know. X-Men and Hellboy are gonna take my ear, maybe.
Yeah.
Cassandra Cain's Batgirl run.
Yes.
That's on the
DC
list.
Universe Fiend. Have you even used DC Universe yet?
No. It's downloaded though. I keep wanting to read Marvel stuff. Like I want to read all this X-Men stuff right now. So
yeah,
there's that. I don't know. Usually I just kind of I just add things to my Marvel Unlimited list and go through. So like the Black Widow by Kelly Thompson's on there. Ultimates, 2015-16 run. I hear that's amazing. So that's on there. I have a bunch of Thor miniseries. Defenders 2017, Mark Waid's Fantastic Four. I want to read.
Wait, you haven't read Mark Waid's Fantastic Four?
Never, yeah,
dude,
it's
that's
on
a
there.
great run.
I hear it's
that's
great.
a top 10 run for me.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
Dude, it's so good.
I have every Guardians of the Galaxy run that I haven't read since the 90s. So I've read some of them, but I want to read the rest of them. And then maybe Matt Fraction's Iron Man.
Harper's
maybe
shaking in his boots.
Yeah, I know. Maybe. What about you? That's kind of I'll figure it out as I go.
So I think I want to do all of Walking Dead this year because it's one of those runs that has just existed. You know, it's 193 issues, and I feel like I could do it. I got the compendiums. Like, why not? Go for it.
Kirkman.
Yeah, Kirkman, and I've heard good things about it. Like people say it's at points it's on Invincible level. So
yeah,
maybe I could binge that, get into that. Beyond that, I was actually looking at Miss Marvel from the mid 2000s, like when Carol was Miss Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Because I kind of like Carol in that era, like when the Avengers split off after Civil War and all that. So I'm curious. She has like a 50 issue run, so I added that to my Marvel Unlimited library. I too have Matt Fraction's Iron Man in there, which now I'm terrified.
I've had Matt Fractions in my library since I got Marvel.
Since I downloaded Marvel Unlimited. Same here.
Yeah. I just see things and I add it. Like I go to the explore page and Anne's Daredevil is on there too.
And Ascending Daredevil. I have Charles Soule's Daredevil to finally read because that's my only missing modern piece. So I think I'll read that at some point this year. And DC wise, man, I don't know what I have planned. There's a few runs that I've been thinking about. Like I've been thinking about doing the back half of Kyle Rayner's run because I've never read that half of it. I've only read the Ron Mars stuff.
Okay.
When you went through Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, it really made me want to read it because
I love that.
I haven't read the New 52 stuff, and I haven't read.
It's not as good, but it's not bad.
The Green Lantern core issues, like the Pete Tomasi stuff. So I think I could like that. I think I could get into that.
Okay.
So maybe that'll be on this year. And then I think I just want to get more into indie comics overall. I want to read Criminal by Ed Brubaker. I want to read all of Once and Future because I've only read the first 12 issues.
Once and Future is awesome. Indie stuff in general I'll try to get into, like just independent comics in general, like even little ones where it's not like a series, like this is really good right now, so I'll find more books like this. I want to make comics this year too. I want to make many comics, so we might have something coming soon.
Yes, sir.
If you like sci-fi. So yeah, well, I want to just, this is going to be, I wrote in my notes actually, and I made it my background as like a motivation. that I like, hey, you should read more comics this year, like more independent stuff, but still read the good stuff. And you should draw your own stuff and make your own comics. And then I wrote, but I still like, yeah, I'm just gonna read it. But I still like writing Spider-Man. Oh yeah, dang, I forgot about that. So, we'll see what happens. I just want to get into comics this year as much as I can, and
I'm
I
with you,
want
man.
to.
It's a good goal to have.
We'll read as many things as we can, and even with the dawn of DC, like we're both going to be reading Mark Waid Shazam, and we'll both be reading Superman with Joshua Williamson, and
Green
probably
Arrow.
Green Arrow, and
With Peacemaker.
yeah, and how
That's one thing we didn't talk about in the news.
Oh
that
yeah,
the Green Arrow
Peacemakers
poster came out.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Peacemakers on the Green Arrow. You're gonna be in the Green Arrow book as a villain or a hero. We don't know,
I
but
don't know.
it's
As John Cena,
odd.
maybe.
Yeah, it's an odd choice, but okay. Well, in Williamson we trust, and yeah, and like, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, comics. Comics are cool. Oh yeah, Green Lantern. I'll read the Hal Jordan run for sure. So
Right.
I think for DC, like I want to read like a ton of X-Men this year. That's like my main thing. For
Yeah.
DC Comics, I think it's just ongoing series. Like I'll be reading more DC than Marvel for the first time in a while with like all this new stuff coming out. And they said they're going to be announcing more comics. So like if an Aquaman run's announced and it's got a good team, I will add that to my list.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, this year you're finally going to pass over amount of issues read for Marvel than DC. Like I know you're close, or you were
Probably.
close.
Yeah, let's see.
Like I'm nowhere close.
Do you think maybe you'll get there? Maybe you'll get close one day at least. Yeah,
I have 2,700 issues of DC read. I have 1,600 of Marvel. So
yeah,
it's not even close. I'm 1,100 behind.
2,600 DC, 2,500 Marvel, and wow, they're off by 1,000 exactly.
Right, and you have with the Marvel Knights stuff that doesn't
Oh
count as
right,
Marvel.
Marvel
like
Knights
it's
is
probably more.
152 Marvel Knights. Yeah,
Right.
no, I forgot about that. So yeah, I'm very very close. So.
Yeah, so you're an all out Marvel fiend now. You are a Marvel genius.
I'm a Marvel guy, I guess. I'm a bit of a Marvel guy. I've seen Iron Man. I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 and the holiday special. So
dude,
bit of a fan. Bit of a fan, yeah. But yeah, I guess that's the end.
That does it for this episode. So if you're listening on YouTube, leave us a like, leave us a subscribe. Wait, that's not how that works. Subscribe.
No, it is.
Leave us a like, leave us a comment. Tell us what you're reading in 2023. We're curious.
Yeah.
We want to know.
Yeah, comment if you've made it this far.
If you somehow made it this far, you son of a bitch. If you're listening anywhere else, we appreciate a review for a hero story. I'm JD.
Oh, actually, for this year, let's start reading reviews again. So give us a 5-star review on iTunes.
If it's on iTunes, 5-star review, and I'll get out my email and be like, "Who the fuck said this?"
Yeah, you could personally send a message to JD, and we will read it out at the start of each.
And I promise you, I will read that personal message the second I wake up. So it'll
be the first thing he sees in the morning.
First thing I see.
Yeah, and he will then read it out on the show, and he'll say your name and whatever you have to say about us. Maybe you hate us, and we'll talk about it.
Ronald McDonald said, "What?"
So maybe don't be too offensive, but you could read us all a message and we'll read it out to you. So yeah, leave us a review on iTunes. Comment on our YouTube videos. Maybe we'll read like the comment of the week. Ooh, that's something, comment of the week. And then bada boom, bada bing. We're done the thing.